Have you ever finished reading and then said to yourself, wow, I have no clue what I just read? This can be frustrating because it's a waste of time, but it can also be easily avoided by engaging more deeply with the text as you read. In this video, I'll show you how to use annotation as a tool to get the most out of your reading. There are 5 basic steps in the process of thorough annotation. Step 1, carefully read the text. Step 2, write the question you'll be answering at the top of the text. Step 3, reread the text and highlight important evidence. Step 4, write the main ideas or summary in the left margin. Step 5, write inferences in the right margin. First, you'll read the text carefully. In your primary read-through, try to get the gist of what the text is about, but don't worry if you don't fully understand. For our purposes today, we'll look at Fish Cheeks by Amy Tan. At this point in the video, you want to pause and read through the text on your own. You don't have to make any marks in the text unless you encounter words that you don't know. You'll want to circle those and look them up. Second, in class, you'll always have a purpose for reading. This will often be a question or a writing prompt that you must answer. Write the question at the top of your paper so that you can use it as a guide during your second reading. Our question in this example is, as a child, what was Amy Tan's opinion of her culture and how has that opinion changed? So I'll write it right at the top. Now that you have your question, read again and highlight evidence that will help you answer this question. Your second read-through should be much more detailed, and you want to look for the best evidence to help you answer the question. Okay, as I read through again, I'm going to look for clues that indicate how Amy Tan feels about her culture. When Robert and his family come over, she cries. She describes her Chinese Christmas as shabby. She describes her Chinese relatives as noisy and lacking proper American manners. She also describes Robert's disappointment at their Chinese food. In this paragraph, she describes the food that her mother is preparing for Christmas as strange. She talks about the appalling mounds of raw food. And tofu that looks like rubbery white sponges. Dinner then throws her deep into despair. Her relatives are lacking American manners, while Robert and his family are very patient. At the end of the meal, her father leans back and belches, explaining that it's a polite Chinese custom. Of course, her crush Robert isn't used to this custom, and he just looks away with a red face. At the very end, after she gets over Robert, she's able to fully appreciate her lesson and the meal. Okay, I've picked out targeted lines to focus on. Now in the left margin of the paper, I'm going to write a brief summary of the highlighted evidence. Think about what's happening in the text and who is involved. Alright, so now I'm going through and I'm summarizing the evidence that I've highlighted and putting it into my own words. The final step in annotation is to write your inferences. This is a crucial step, and it will help you to write a strong response to the text that shows your depth of understanding. Inferences are not obvious. Making an inference requires you to make a judgment, characterization, or connection about the text. You can think of this as a hashtag description. Okay, so now I'm going to write my hashtag inference words that will help me answer this question, describing Amy Tan's opinion of her culture. You can use words multiple times. This is totally fine. If you find yourself using a word often, then this is an indication you'll probably want to use it in your written response. All right, congratulations, you've learned how to annotate a text. This will help you after reading the first time, rereading again, and annotating. It'll help you to understand and write about any text. It'll also help you to answer short answer response questions on the start. It'll help you think more deeply about a text and make connections to your life and your own learning.